let's talk about this Washington Huskies football team. How confident are you in what Chris Peterson and his staff are going to be able to? Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
right,
I love it. Oh, so that means your confidence is high. How high is your confidence then that they're going to be able to game plan and upset top-ranked Alabama?
I don't know. And I think it's going to be a great challenge. Alabama is as deep a defense as there is. I'm not sure how the Huskies are going to handle that defense. I do think that their defense, Washington's defense, matches up pretty well. I think that's if Washington can score 25, 30 points, and that's saying an awful lot.
Wow.
But if they get into the 20s, I think that there's going to be a real challenge here. And the other thing is, look, Nick Saban is a great, great coach, but he's also really greedy. He doesn't want to give you an inch. Washington's a team that can go over the top with John Ross. The biggest question for the Huskies is what happened to Jake Browning the final month of the season. It looked like he was dealing with a little bit of a dead arm, some arm fatigue. Now, maybe the month off is the perfect thing for him, and he goes back to looking how he did in September and October when he was the most efficient passer. I don't know. We could find out Washington's simply out of their depth. The Pac-12 was terrible in non-conference play, and you saw them absolutely Alabama murder a USC team that gave Washington all kinds of problems. At the same time, you're giving Chris Peterson, who's known for his game planning, a month to prepare and see if he can come up with a way to find some cracks in that Alabama defense.
You raise an interesting point, Danny. How much pressure is on Chris Peterson and this program to represent the entire Pac-12 conference or the West Coast or the western part of the United States? Because if they get blown out by Alabama, which would be no shame because Alabama can do that to any opponent on any given day, people are going to say, oh, see, the Pac-12 was weak all along.
And they might be right, unfortunately. The Pac-12 did not look great. There's not much defense that's played in the conference. It's certainly, you look at the scores week in, week out. I do think that there is a little bit of regional pride. This is the best part about the bowl season and the playoffs, though, is I don't think the SEC was very good either outside of Alabama, which is obviously great. So we're going to see. I don't think Alabama's faced a team that will test them down the field. When they faced USC, they were going with quarterback Max Brown. And once USC made the quarterback switch, like things improved a lot. Now, I don't think that quarterback switch is worth 38 points. So I'm not saying that, hey, if they play now, that's a whole different story. Alabama kicked the tar out of them. But I think that Washington and the way it approaches its offense, I do think they present a little bit of a different challenge than Alabama is used to. But if they get blown out, and as you said, I mean, Alabama can do that to a team. They scored 17 points while having negative offensive yardage in the SEC championship game. It certainly will reflect on the conference. Washington's got to carry the flag for the Pac-12.
How are Huskies fans handling all of the excitement leading up to the game?
Well, it's great. We're only, 8 years removed from a winless season under Tyrone Willingham. So I got my Peach Bowl ticket. I'm ready to go. I'm excited to see what happened. In many ways, this happened a year earlier than most Husky fans expected. Last year, they had 3 true freshmen starting at key positions. Jake Browning was at quarterback, left tackle, and a running back. This year, we expected a step forward and that they would be in the conversation to contend. I don't think anybody expected a 12-win season, and a Pac-12 championship has been absolutely fantastic. Now, they're missing 2 of their better defensive players. Azim Victor and Joe Mathis, their defensive end, have been lost for the season. That's a bummer. This is still a legit defense, though, with 2 big Haas defensive tackles in Vita Vea as well as Elijah Qualls. And I think of all the teams in the Pac-12, that size and the way they play defense gives them a shot in these sort of interregional matchups.
All right, Danny, I think at last check it was Alabama favored by 17. Oh, I take that back, down to 15. So Alabama's favored by a little more than 2 scores.
Does that mean the sharp money's coming in on the Huskies?
Maybe so. Maybe it's dropped down a little bit. My question is, if you had $100 to put down, would you take the Huskies to at least cover?
Well, I'm not a traitorous, lecherous person, so of course I would, Michael. What kind of question is that?
Because in college, don't be careful, because in college football we've been seeing that here of late. Some people from inside. You never know.
Wait, yeah, how about that story? That story's insane,
isn't it?
I would. I feel good about Washington's chances to cover. I think that's winning the game. If they win, it'll probably be the biggest upset of this college football season. just with how good Alabama's been, and that there's been a lot of debate. And look, I'm not going to defend Washington's non-conference schedule because it was bad. And Washington should not play a schedule like that. But if they come out there, I feel good about this team. I feel good about the way they've played. And I think that the key is, does Browning bounce back? I think he is going to be helped by this month of rest.